Warning, this video mentions addictions like drugs. This video may be triggering and is not suitable for children either. I'll give you a few seconds to click off this video. Mites can look like little red dots. Here's me snorting a line of mites. I'm addicted to mites. It's so hard to talk about this because I'm so focused on mites and I don't want to pause for a single moment to write this script. I have to think about mites so much and I'm so absorbed by mites that I've been putting off writing this script for over a week because focusing my attention towards anything other than mites is so hard. My mind feels tugged towards mites. I feel so overwhelmed thinking about mites. Thinking about mites makes me less happy and less peaceful, and it makes me irritated and frustrated when my attention is drawn away from mites. Normally, coping mechanisms like maladaptively daydreaming about mites are meant to temporarily relieve stress, even if they cause more harm in the long term. Doing OCD compulsions is meant to temporarily relieve anxiety, even if it makes you more anxious in the long term. Autism's special interests are meant to relieve stress. I have maladaptive daydreaming, OCD, and autism, but my emotions seem to be backwards. Maladaptively daydreaming about mites temporarily makes me more anxious and overwhelmed instead of temporarily relieving stress and helping you cope. OCD compulsions like ruminating about your videos on mites or compulsively checking your mite videos to see if they're good enough or checking if you've made mistakes make me temporarily more anxious and overwhelmed instead of the compulsions temporarily relieving anxiety. Worrying you're attracted to mites and then compulsively ruminating, trying to figure out whether you're actually attracted to mites, causes me more anxiety, shame, and guilt instead of temporarily relieving these emotions. Mites are my autistic special interest, but watching or thinking about anything related to mites just overwhelms me, and that's the same with all my special interests. It does not feel pleasant thinking about mites, even though most people with autism find their special interests relaxing and happy. Most of the entirety of the thoughts I have in a day are about my videos on mites, even if I'm watching TV, doing housework, playing video games. All my thoughts are still about mites, even when I'm eating like tea and lunch. I made a 4-hour video about mites, but then that was not good enough. I needed the video to be 5 hours long. I achieved that, but the goalposts keep changing. Eventually my video on mites was 16 hours, but YouTube would not let the video be longer than 12 hours, so I had to split it into sections. I kept obsessively thinking of how to put a 16-hour video on the internet. Maybe I'm very perfectionistic, and once I achieve a goal, I have to move the goalposts and make the video even bigger and better. Maybe I have a core fear of inadequacy, where I fear I'm not good enough. I need lots of other people to like my videos on mites, to validate me, to make my world seem real. To make all this effort towards videos seem like it has some benefit on other people, even though the suffering my videos cause me is not worth it. Originally, my video was 75,000 words, but I thought, that's not even as long as some PhDs. That's not good enough. Then the video about mites was 200,000 words, and I thought the video needs to be 24 hours long because a video that takes an entire day to watch would be better. Maybe I want my videos to be longer and longer because I'm addicted to making these videos and I need bigger and better thrills just to feel normal. I can say I'll quit tomorrow and make a different new video, but I have to keep adding to the video. Thinking about mites in my videos is so absorbing that I'm completely pulled from and disconnected from my surroundings. Maladaptive daydreaming may involve dissociating, and it feels a bit hazy and foggy as I dissociate from my surroundings. When in the bath, I'm washing my body with shampoo instead of my head and washing my face with shower gel instead of face cream. I'm accidentally taking the wrong dose of medication. It's not because I just can't think straight with anxiety. It's because I feel so much pressure to think about mites in my videos that I'm completely absorbed by them and I'm not aware of the external world. I'm just in the internal world in my head. It feels like everything rides on my videos about mites. No one's going to die if my videos are not good enough, or is not, or if my videos are not some incredibly complex cinematic masterpiece, but the stakes feel life or death. Sometimes I pause and think, if I had a serious physical accident, wouldn't that be worse than not being able to make this mite video marginally better? But there's a disconnect. It feels like the mite video is the most important, all-consuming thing in the universe. With autism, I'm very sensitive to pain and gore, but making this video about mites is all that matters. All that matters is that this video is completed. My laptop could get smashed, but as long as it was 1 minute after my video was uploaded, I wouldn't care. Anything could happen and it would not matter because my sole goal is to make this video. With my autism, I'm hyper focused on this mite video, like tunnel vision. With OCD, I'm completely obsessed with this video. With maladaptive daydreaming, I daydream so intensely about mites and the mites contents of this video that when autism, OCD, perfectionism, a core fear of inadequacy, and maladaptive daydreaming all combine it so intensely. When you're thinking about your 16-hour-long video, it's like you have the whole time vortex running through your head. And that's at the moment when I'm not even in my bipolar's dysphoric mania, which amplifies the amount of creative output and ideas and amplifies my OCD and overwhelm. Dysphoric mania is where you feel manic and depressed at the same time, and this leads to even more anxiety, overwhelm, and agitation. If my mood is all right, but I don't make a video for just a day, my mood rapidly plummets and I become severely suicidal within a day. That's not because the daydreaming helps me, it's because I'm dependent on it like a drug. The happiest and most peaceful moments I have is in the rare instances when I'm not daydreaming or thinking about my videos. I daydream about everything in the universe and the whole multiverse being made of mites. The world of my videos is so complex and in depth. The real world is just boring compared to it, and I feel apathy towards the real world. I still like and care about family and friends, though. Everything may be made of mites in my fictional story, but maybe that reflects the all-consuming effect mites have on me. I have not stopped pacing in circles while writing this script, as pacing is part of maladaptive daydreaming. I'm addicted to mites. In my story, even my pet rock is made of grains of little red mites. I don't smoke rocks of crack, I smoke rocks of mites. While I'm sure there are a lot worse things about substance addictions, with my maladaptive daydreaming addiction to mites, all I have to do is think about mites to get my fix. But I don't know how to control my thoughts. It's like if every time you thought of alcohol, it was the same as giving in and drinking alcohol. But with autism, you're supposed to engage in your special interest, and special interests are really good for you. But my special interest in mites is also an OCD obsession and a maladaptive daydreaming addiction. How can I even think about things I like mites, when it causes me so much distress thinking about mites? My special interest is also psychology, but that is also an OCD obsession, where I feel I have to obsessively figure out my own psychology, and psychology even becomes what the maladaptive daydreams are also about. With perfectionism combined with OCD and autism, I feel I have to know everything about my special interests, but this goes beyond just autism. I feel compelled to compulsively research my special interests, and they overwhelm me instead of relax me. I need to know everything about them out of obsessive perfectionism, and because I fear I'm not good enough, and I have to be clever. I need to know about my special interests because knowledge about rocks, psychology and mites allows me to make better videos and fuels my maladaptive daydreaming, which is about rocks, psychology and mites. I want people to like my videos about mites, and I have to perfectly and obsessively know everything about my mites. Otherwise, my videos won't be good enough, and I'll feel anxious, insecure, and inadequate. With autism as a child, I was badly bullied, as people did not know I was autistic. Every day, people would give me what they called the retard test, where they would deliberately ask me the most impossible questions to answer, and then laugh at me and bully me for not getting them right, even though some of them were impossible. I feel I have to overcompensate for that and be more intelligent and clever, and that I have to know everything about my special interests because of that, and all my special interests like rocks, mites, worms and psychology are all to do with science and are academic. I don't have bricks of cocaine, but in my story I live in a house made of bricks of mites. I'm doing so many bricks of mites that even the walls are made of bricks of mites, like brick walls. Where else would I put so many bricks of mites? There were bricks of giant velvet mites, parasitic mites on bricks made of flesh. There were also bricks made of ticks. I don't know what the street value of all the mite bricks in the wall made of mites are, but to me, the mites are invaluable. With perfectionism, I set myself very high standards. Like this video has to be 24 full hours long, which would be over 300,000 words. I've probably drawn over 500 drawings for the video so far. I have OCD, which stands for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, but there's a separate condition that I do not have called OCPD. OCPD stands for Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder. The name sounds very similar to OCD, but OCPD is quite different. OCPD can involve extreme perfectionism and control, and people with OCPD can be extremely controlling of other people, where everything from drying dishes to hanging out washing on the line has to be done perfectly. If other people do not do these activities right, the person with OCPD can become very irritated, frustrated, and angry. This means the person with OCPD can hold other people to impossible, perfect standards that are impossible to meet. And the person with OCPD can be critical of everything other people do that is not perfect. Nothing is ever good enough for the person with OCPD, no matter what you do. I think my dad might have OCPD, whereas I have the different condition, OCD. Not doing everything perfectly can lead to the person with OCPD constantly shouting and swearing. Of course, everyone's different, and that does not mean everyone with OCPD is abusive, and some people with OCPD can still be nice, just like with any condition. I may have internalized my dad's high standards, and that may have led to my perfectionism and feeling like I'll never be good enough, and why I have a harsh inner critic bullying myself about my videos on mites not being good enough. That may be why I always move the goalposts when it comes to my videos on mites. But I do not hold other people to perfect standards, and I actually hold myself to much higher standards than other people. Mimoletti cheese is the cheese that in real life contains mites. I want to eat mites and cheese like cannabis and cookies and brownies. I want to consume the mite edibles. Because no one has ever watched my videos for years, and in the past no one has ever liked my videos. Some people do like my videos now, it's just people have to actually view my videos in the first place in order to like them. A lot of my videos genuinely don't get a single view. I feel like I have to make a video so big, people can't ignore it. People still aren't watching my videos, so I feel this video on mites has to be longer and longer and more complex and some cinematic masterpiece. It has to be 24 hours long because then it would be so long that people can't ignore it. My self worth is so tied to my videos that if my videos are not good and no one likes my videos, then I am not good. Your self worth being attached to achievement can be part of perfectionism. I feel suicidal and get really depressed and angry when no one likes my videos. I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe because everything is interconnected and part of this huge universe with so many different themes. If Marvel movies were standalone movies that did not relate to a wider Marvel universe, then I would not be very interested in them. It's the huge, expansive, and complex, interconnected world in my videos that I want people to see. My video has to be so long because I want people to see the full picture of my world. Just like with Marvel, it's the huge, complex, interconnected world, not just the individual parts. And I want people to see that in my Might videos. Big, complex worlds are also part of maladaptive daydreaming. You hear of everyone thinking they're alone and that no one shares their mental health struggles, but then they go online and find people with similar issues. My mental health struggles are all combinations of various disorders and various traits rather than single issues, and I have scoured the internet and found no one with the same issues as me, no matter how much I obsessively research. That combined with no one liking my videos makes me feel invisible, isolated, and rejected, as if I myself am in a different parallel universe to everyone else. I've heard of maladaptive daydreaming compared to an addiction, but I've never heard of compulsive content creation as an addiction, or like compulsively making videos as an addiction. Can you be addicted to creating content? It certainly feels like I'm addicted to creating videos. And not just an OCD obsession alone, and not just an OCD compulsion alone. It feels more than that. It feels like an addiction. Autistic people can attribute human characteristics and human feelings to inanimate objects and animals. This is called personification. With my autism, I attribute human like characteristics and feelings to mites. Beds are full of dust and dust mites. Here's a person made out of dust and dust mites, lying in bed on an old pillow turned yellow. Old pillows can contain millions of dust mites. Every night, I actually sleep with millions of dust mites. I have an addiction. I have to sleep with so many millions of dust mites every night. 10 or 100 or even 1,000 dust mites are not enough. I'm addicted to dust mites and I'm addicted to sleeping with dust mites. I'm not actually attracted to dust or dust mites, but in my story, I accidentally had a strange and exciting, unrelated dream, and when I woke up, millions of dust mites got pregnant in my story. Some of the millions of human mite hybrids had my head on a mite's body. Some other of the hybrids had a mite-shaped body but with pink fleshy skin and veins. Because with autism, I see mites like people. With my OCD, I worry I'm attracted to mites, but that is just an irrational worry, and it is common for people with OCD to worry they're attracted to things they're not. Worrying I was attracted to mites started when I was in bipolar mania, as mania can give you bizarre thoughts, which can then combine with your OCD. Drawing this picture triggered my OCD about worrying I was attracted to mites. I think I'll keep the 24 hours of video about mites as separate parts. But like an addiction, maybe I have to keep making a bigger and bigger video, just like someone on drugs maybe chase bigger and bigger highs. Maybe a 16-hour video is not enough for me because I need bigger and longer videos just to get the same thrill. Maybe it's a mix of addiction and perfectionism. I love the soft, puffy, fluffy look of dust, but I would never actually feel dust because I don't want to squish all the dust mites living in the dust. As with OCD, I worry about harming tiny creatures like mites. Because with autism, I view mites like people and feel empathy for them. In the multiverse, every universe is made of tiny dots that are mites. The universes diverge and branch off into parallel universes. The branching timelines are themselves made up of tiny red dots that are mites. I obsess over whether it is okay to keep my videos in sections that are each a few hours long rather than putting them into a 24-hour long video. People might not find that as impressive and ignore the individual videos. The chance of them watching more than one individual video is low, and they won't get the full video. People tell me making a 24-hour long video is a big achievement and very impressive, but that just reinforces the need to make a 24-hour long video. As if it was not as long, they would not be saying it was as impressive or as much of an achievement. If my video was in shorter sections, it may not be good enough, and no one would care. I can't cope with the pressure of making a 24-hour long video, and working on the video feels urgent. My videos, my mental health issues, and I will be invisible and insignificant without the 24-hour long video. People say on YouTube that they want to talk about something very rarely talked about on the internet, but then there are lots of other YouTube videos talking about the same specific thing. I can't find any information on the entire internet related to a lot of my issues, no matter how hard I try. I'm not just talking about the issues mentioned in this section. I feel very isolated, alienated, and rejected. I feel like my videos have information to say that has not been talked about much before, but no one watches them, and my issues go unseen and invisible. YouTubers treat their co-occurring conditions as completely isolated from their other conditions, but my conditions feel really interconnected. No one cares about my issues or videos, and it feels like no one cares about me because my videos and issues are so strongly tied to my self-esteem, self-worth, and identity. I'm crying now. People probably just view me as weird and not worth bothering about. There are loads of videos about being addicted to and consuming social media content, but no information about being addicted to creating social media content. There is virtually nothing about it on the entire internet. It seems unfair, and that annoys me. I hate the situation, and I hate myself. I feel worthless, depressed, and maybe shame, because most of my videos can't get one like or one view. I worry I'm very narcissistic, but my friends and family say I'm the opposite of a narcissist. I find this difficult to say, but sometimes I feel jealous of other people's videos because it feels unfair that mine don't get views or likes. Sometimes in my head I used to feel critical of some other people's art and videos because I felt jealous or envy. I understood, though, that I was just having these thoughts because I was feeling depressed, and I knew the critical thoughts were not valid, and I never verbalized them or acted on them in any way. I compulsively make so much content and go into so much detail that I made a 10-minute video about just why I stare at the ground. I need to make the 24-hour long video because the 24-hour long video shows how obsessed with my videos I am, and it expresses how addicted and all how addicting and all consuming my videos are. People would realize that and then might take me serious or understand my issues and the severity of them. I feel guilty for having jealous or critical feelings towards other people's videos or art, and I feel like a bad person, but by saying I feel like a bad person. Am I gaslighting? Because saying I'm such a horrible person is like a gaslighting phrase. Especially because I was the one who had the critical thoughts of other people in the first place. With OCD, you can worry about morality, being nice and being a good person. And with perfectionism, you have to be morally perfect and really nice, like perfectly nice. In my story, my characters are very detailed, and my pet rock is a character. And in the story, my pet rock has borderline personality disorder. Here's why my pet rock felt so empty. They were transparent. I love mites, and in my fictional story, everything is made out of mites. My pet rock became made out of transparent mites, as some mites can be see-through. My pet rock mirrored me, just as my special interest was mites. The rock tried to form their identity around mites as well. The rock had an unstable sense of self. They had to fill in their identity with the people around them. Because they mirrored me, they had the same values as me. They valued not harming mites, but the rock did not know their own values, the ones separate from other people's values. They did not know their real values that had been consistent throughout their life and that were not just other people's values. The rock did not know who they truly were, and this made them feel so empty, which made them try to fill in the hole in their sense of self by mirroring other people, so that they filled the hole with traits of other people. I loved mites, and the rock literally became made of transparent mites. But the more the rock tried to be like me, the more they lost sight of their own self. This just reinforced their emptiness. The sandstone rock's body was now made of transparent mites, not grains of sand. They had lost sense of their body. They felt detached from their body to the point where they began dissociating. They felt disconnected from their body. The dissociation and feeling disconnected from themselves led them to becoming even more confused about their true sense of self, and this made them feel even more empty. They felt extreme emotions, but also detached from the emotions at the same time. The dissociation made them feel so disconnected from their body, and they felt they could see through themselves, and they were transparent. But their unstable sense of self made it even harder for them to see what their true sense of self was, and they felt more transparent. This led them to feeling more empty. They felt like they had no meaning and purpose, and they felt so hollow inside that it was as if they were not made of anything and that they were transparent. That's why in one parallel universe, my pet rock is made of transparent mites. The empty hollow of a tree trunk is see-through. You can see through the air making up the hole in this tree. It's transparent. But imagine if the hollow became so big that there was no longer any wood or tree left. That's how empty the rock felt. That's why the rock felt transparent. Just like how a hole can only exist in reference to something the hole is embedded in or on, the empty rock's sense of self could only exist in reference to other people, just like holes are a concept in philosophy called ontological parasites. The rock was too an ontological parasite. I should say, though, that the term parasite is not meant in any negative way, and I feel I should clarify that before anyone's borderline personality disorder fear of rejection kicks in. Biological parasites and philosophical parasites are my special interest, so no judgment is meant, because I love parasites.